Previously on The Big Break. 10 men were chosen to vie for 4 Canadian Tour exemptions and the lease of a Ford Explorer. They were brought to Gaylord, Michigan, where their games and guts were put to the test. They fought the golf course and Mother Nature. They took on the challenges, the cameras, and the clock. They battled each other and themselves. One by one, they were eliminated. Until there were just 2 men standing. Tonight, live from the Golf Channel studios, the contestants come together for the first time since they left Treetops. Here, they will watch the final challenge unfold, the challenge between Justin and Anthony, the challenge that will decide who will be the final player eliminated and who will get the big break.
2, 1, roll 50, track, fade up.
You've all been waiting for, the season finale of The Big Break. To my right, 7 of your favorite contestants from the hit show. And to my left, the hosts, Rick Smith and Catherine Roberts. Welcome, everyone. It's good to see you.
Be here.
All right. Yes, there are 3 important faces missing from this crowd. One belongs to Garrett Garland, who sadly cannot be with us because he has undertaken surgery, which prevents him from traveling. But the other 2 are here, and they are ready to do battle for those all-important 4 exemptions to the Canadian Tour tournaments seen exclusively on the Golf Channel. Let's bring them in. Justin Peters and Anthony Sorrentino.
Hey, how you feeling, man? What's up, baby? Good to see you, man. 35. What's up, man?
Anthony. Hey, God.
Good to see you.
Hey, babe.
Oh, yeah.
Greg,
I called your shot.
Can you feel the love in the air? I can't believe you guys actually competed against each other. You've really developed a strong bond. This show has been a huge success for the Golf Channel, and we hope it has been just as successful for all of you. And I start with you, Rick and Catherine. What kind of feedback have you gotten on the road?
Oh, well, for me, it's been incredible, just overwhelming. Everywhere I go, people, they want to talk about the show. They're constantly trying to get information out of me, which I refuse to do. Didn't even tell my husband anything. And just the response has been incredible. People really have connected with our 10 golfers and the whole experience.
Rick, you mix with amateurs and professional golfers. What kind of feedback have you gotten?
It's amazing. I go back out on tour those next couple months, and all of a sudden that's all they're talking about. The guys are watching the show on the PGA Tour. It seems like these guys are kind of living the dream, and it seems like there's so many people out there that really want to do the same thing, and they don't have the nerve to do it. These guys had the nerve to do it, and I think that's what it's all about.
And they did it well.
Yes,
Yeah,
they
they
did.
did.
Guys, what's it like to see each other again? Jeff, I'll ask you.
Oh, it's awesome. See these guys and everything that they've done. It's been wonderful watching you, and it's just great to get back together with them. Really is.
John, how do you feel about the reunion?
I love it. It's awesome. I mean, each one of us got a chance to actually bond with each other for a full week, and sadly, but you know, one person left each day. But just to come back together again, you know, and meet those old friends and spend some time and play some golf was wonderful. It was awesome.
Love to see a show of hands. How many of you guys actually have gotten agents since the deal? Come on, Mark, raise your hand. You already had one. Steve Talk Show over there. Mark, you've gotten a personal trainer since the show. You won a couple of mountain bikes. You look like you've dropped a few pounds. Have you used the mountain bikes?
to be my agent.
You picked up some sponsorship. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate. A golf club company stepped forward and provided me equipment for the coming year, and I've worked with another company on improving my swing. So, yeah, it's been very exciting.
You were very exciting. What a character to watch. And I know you guys have been signing autographs, too. I've heard some great stories from you. Steve, I know you have a special one that involves a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, Mike Alstott, a 6-time All-Pro. I mean, you know, he's a pretty well-known guy. You're sitting with him, and what happens?
Well, I do a show with Mike every Monday at his restaurant on my radio show. And this guy walked out. Mike and I were sitting during a break, and this guy walks out, and he says, "I've been staring at you through the window." He says, "You're that guy Steve from the Big Break, aren't you?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Can I have your autograph?" And Mike Alstott's sitting right next to me, an all-pro football player, and he doesn't even talk to him. It's like, whoa.
Charles, I know you've signed a few, my man. Tell me about one of your great stories.
Oh, man. Well, let me see. I've had a few, and I'll tell you one of the nicest things that I did. There were some children that was outside of the Big Bear out in the cold, collecting money for junior basketball. And I walked in and I saw the kids, and the one kid said to me, he said, "Hey, you were on the Big Break." And I said, "Yeah, that was me. So he asked me, he said, "Can I get your autograph?" And I said, "Well, I don't have anything right now." And I said, "But I'll get it for you." So I ran all the way home and got me a nice viewer's guide, came back, signed it for the kids, and they just loved it. And one of the kids' father pulled me to the side and he said, "Charles, that is the greatest thing you've done. I appreciate that." And I've been doing stuff like that, and I love it.
You guys are definitely making a difference. Now, I'm curious, Mr. Sorrentino, you think you can make it through a 2-hour special here without putting a dip of tobacco in your mouth?
I don't know. We might have to get a couple.
Yeah, we have a little video.
Ellie, is the show censored by chance?
Look at this. You're spitting in guys.
No, he came close to spitting on one.
This is absolutely, that's bad sportsmanship, Anthony.
One of the tobacco.
I'm a Nicorette these days.
That's
Good
excellent.
job.
We heard you actually sent one of our production coordinators on a road trip in the middle of taping because you ran out of dip. Is this true?
It was before the last one, and I make bogeys when I don't got it chewing. I do. I mean, it's terrible. I've heard Nick Price say that he wants to quit smoking, but he can't right now. So, you know, I make bogeys when I don't have it chewing. Like
Copenhagen, somebody. Skull will be contacted.
Oh, you know that?
Yeah, I know you brought
I'm trying to quit.
Okay, that's good. I know you brought your girlfriend with you to support you during the final elimination challenge. And speaking of trying to quit, Justin, your mom promised that she would quit smoking if you were able to win the Big Break. If it happens, will you hold her to it?
It's going to be up to her, you know. I mean, it's we'll just have to wait and see what happens, you know, as far as the way it unfolds. But she's always been very honest and everything. So, you know, I believe if I was the winner, I believe she would quit smoking, regardless of if I told her she didn't have to. I think she still would.
You're a winner already for making it this far. And guys, what would a Canadian Tour exemption mean to one of the two of these fellows? Charles, what do you think it would mean?
Oh, I think it would be really a great opportunity because so many, like you were saying before, there's so many individuals out there that really don't get an opportunity to, well, do the things that we're doing. And for one of these gentlemen, whoever eventually is the winner, for them to go out and have those exemptions, it means the world because they have an opportunity to get themselves onto that stage to show what they can do in the competition setting. And I think it's just amazing.
Randy, you're nodding your head back there. I'm sure you agree with Charles.
Oh, yeah. Life is opportunities. He's going to have an opportunity to showcase his talent.
Craig, you're a professional golfer. What would it mean to you?
What would it mean to me? It's just the ways and means to get free exemptions on a tour, get some exposure on national TV. It's exactly what you're looking for. And these two guys, they deserve it. They're where they're coming from. I mean, look at Justin with his daughter, trying to support her at the same time. He's trying to do his golf career, and Anthony, young gun, up and coming, trying to get some experience. For both of them, it would mean just as much to me.
You two have the respect of this entire group, and in order for Justin and Anthony to take advantage of these precious exemptions, they must win the big break. These men have survived every elimination challenge to this point. Now they must face one more grueling test. It's time to reveal the final challenge. Let's go to the Treetops Resort.
Splinters walking around on these floors with the wood.
Hey, Anthony.
Hi.
How you doing this morning?
I'm good.
It's my good luck picture. My daughter gave that a nice kiss before I left.
Did you think you were going to be here?
Yeah, I mean, you don't come to these things and just for like fun, I guess. You know what I mean? You came here to get to the end, so absolutely.
Hopefully me and Anthony have a pretty good battle out there. And hopefully whoever wins by hitting great shots.
What did I forget? Checklist.
I'm just getting ready here. I think I'm almost done. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know what they're gonna have in store for us today, but we're gonna find out.
Let's go. Good luck to both of you today.
Thanks.
Hey, guys.
Guys, good to see you. Good to see you, Justin.
Hi, Anthony.
Well, congratulations. You know, this is the final show. This is it. You still have to beat the other person, but the odds are obviously a lot better right now than they were yesterday or previous shows. Yeah. So you've seen some wild things. You've been hitting balls through sheets of glass. You've been hitting balls over walls, you name it. Today we're going to take you over. There's not going to be any skills challenge. It's going to be 18 holes, match play. And you're going to be playing my signature course here, and you'll be playing a match play environment, and you know, you've got a bunch of things riding. Number one, the Ford Explorer. You have the Canadian Tour exemptions, 4 of those. And I'll tell you what, that's what you want, and I know that's what you're going for. Yeah. May the best man win.
Yeah. There's no losers here. I mean, we're both winners here, no matter how it turns out.
You guys have done well, and we're just happy that you guys are here, and we're looking forward to seeing your action.
All right.
Good luck.
Thanks, Rick.
Good luck.
Thanks,
okay.
Thanks, Kevin.
I was hoping for exactly what we did. I mean, me and Justin talked last night, and we thought, can they do anything besides have us have a match?
It wasn't going to be one shot or best out of 3 shots. It was, we're going to go play, a round of golf.
We wanted to play each other. We've been talking about it. I mean, get to see the golf course finally. I mean, we've been itching to play.
Throughout tonight's big finale, we'll constantly check in on the competition, take plenty of fun looks back on the season, and of course, offer a few twists and turns as we go to break. Words of advice from a master of match play.
Hey guys, congratulations on making it through match play. I know it's not an easy format, but it sure is a lot of fun. And hats off to you guys. Be aware that it's a dog-eat-dog competition, so it's 18 holes of complete war, and I think that's the flow and that's the fun of it. And again, good luck.
From Las Vegas, Nevada.
I'm from Huntington, Arkansas.
I'm from Bay City, Texas.
Simi Valley, California.
From Toronto, Canada. Sparta, Wisconsin.
Divisional VP, CEO kind of guy.
I'm a school administrator.
I'm in the mortgage banking business.
Was a drill sergeant.
I'm a minister.
I'm a radio talk show host.
We're all here for the same purpose.
Hi, I'm Mark Farnham. I'm really excited to have this opportunity to audition today for The Big Break.
It's pretty addictive. It's like drugs.
Ready and willing to do whatever it takes.
So do you want me to do that in front of the camera and be a complete dweeb?
Alrighty then.
I really am a good golfer, but my forte is Krispy Kreme donuts.
Right, man. What you want to do there is take the ball out to the left. Let the wind take it back to the right.
You talking to me? You got a problem?
And you'll be right there on the green, about 50 feet from the put.
My best game face.
There it is. There it is. There you go.
You don't want to ring your own bell too much, but a lot of people say you're the best golfer that I've never heard of.
Definitely, I always dreamed of playing professional tour golf, the highest level I can.
It's a dream.
I didn't want to turn 40 and say, you know what coulda, shoulda been.
It's a dream.
I got all the shots. Nobody has all the shots.
What are you playing to right now?
Scratch.
Scratch?
Yeah, I'm scratch.
I'm a scratch player.
I get a kick out of some of these guys that think they're scratch golfers. They can't scratch their ass, much less scratch golf.
You believe that?
I like making people laugh.
Ooh, a little bit of everything.
Like a moonwalk, I do it.
Ride the ball around the green.
I heard it through the grapevine.
Desperado.
Shuffle to the door, jump right out and count to 4.
I'm back after the dream again, at the age of 54.
It's a dream.
I wouldn't want to be sitting in that office making a ton of dough, looking back saying I missed my chance.
It's a dream.
I've got some serious debts that need to be paid.
I'm definitely economically challenged. You never know when the big break might come along.
It's a dream.
The behind-the-scenes stuff is priceless. Can you top that? You'll get your chance on The Big Break 2. More on that later in the show. Anthony and Justin have come a long way since their audition. Now it's time to get the big match underway. Back to Treetops, where the players will draw to see who has the honor.
Draw a ball, gentlemen. Okay, Anthony's number 1. Justin's number 2. Anthony, you have the honor. Please play away.
Okay. Gentlemen, good luck.
Thank you.
Play well.
Thanks, Rick.
Thanks.
We both looked a little shaky at the start, obviously, because we knew what was on the line.
Turn.
Okay, the ball's just hit the trees. He thought it would come left. He's hit the ball towards the left side, and it's just short of the green to the left, short of the bunker. They're very nervous, you know, you can see that.
Get back there. Go!
Good shot, Anthony. Get over that hill.
Justin's just in front here. He's got a little pitch that's not too difficult. He has to go over the front right portion of that bunker and feed it to the hole. He doesn't have to fly it all the way to the hole, though. He's hit it thin. You know, it's just showing nerves. A lot of nerves here. Now they're both faced with very difficult par putts. Good putt.
That's good, Anthony.
Justin is faced with another downhill.
Anthony 5, Justin 5. Match is all square with 17 balls to play.
4 bad shots. Get him out of the way early. Oh, this is a nice par 3 here.
Blow it. Blow!
Anthony's starting it right to the center of the green and drawing left. Wow. Starting center of the green, it needs to get up a little bit. It's a good shot. He certainly needs to get this up and down because Justin is not going to 3-putt.
No.
All right, shot.
He really misjudged that putt. You know, again, it's just the nerves. There, it's showing in both players. You know, Anthony hits a chip long by 7, 8 feet, and Justin's looking good, and he just misjudges his speed.
Yeah, that was not a good putt.
No. For 3.
Nice.
Now it's back on Justin.
Anthony 3, Justin 3. The match remains all square. 16 holes to play.
How were the hands? I could see a little bit of nerves working there. You're just getting started. What were the nerves like, Anthony?
I was hitting it good on the range, like usual. But it's always a different story, especially when you get to a place you've really never been before. You know what I mean? So definitely, the swing's the same and the shots are different. So it shows you it's more about the nerves than anything else.
The hands shake. Does the heart pitter patter? Do the butterflies start to fly in the tummy, Justin?
Absolutely. If they didn't, we wouldn't be enjoying it. You know, I think that's the bottom line. And it felt great, feeling so nervous on that first tee, knowing what was on the line. And we obviously got off to a pretty shaky start, but you know, it's just one-on-one, so it's obviously we were even there through the first 2 holes, and I think we started to settle in a little bit after that, and we tried to enjoy the round.
Coming up next on the Big Break season finale, we take a look back at the more memorable roommate moments.
I'm telling you, Randy's really gonna miss my coffee in the morning.
And the final match takes a turn as the first birdie is made.
Oh, he made it. Oh. What a great putt.
Will it be Anthony or Justin, who takes one step closer to the 4 Canadian Tour exemptions? Stay tuned when the Big Break season finale returns.
Oh my God. Good omen, bad omen? No omen. Oh man.
Oh man.
Woke up this morning, found a nice big surprise.
Watch out, Craig.
Did I do that?
I don't know. Did you do that?
Hey, Jeff, watch this.
Guys, I don't really know how to start this conversation.
Are we going to get the answer?
Oh, to what happened?
Exactly.
I want to know it from you. You were there.
I woke up and it was there. He saw it first. I don't know. Ask him.
That was Garrett's dog.
It was
Actually, we renamed the dog Titleist.
I guess it was a pretty good omen. You guys went pretty far in the competition.
I think it was a grizzly bear, honestly. I mean,
they're up there.
It was hard to carry.
Just so happens
it wasn't human.
Yeah, not human at all, and
No.
so you're off the hook completely. Okay, Craig Pauling and
That was
Justin
good.
Peters were the only 2 contestants who previously knew each other. Imagine being forced to bunk with competition you've never met before in tight quarters under pressure-filled conditions. That was the case for our contestants. Here now some of the great interactions caught on tape.
We've got the bunkhouse here, and this is where you're going to be staying. And what I'd like you to do right now is just grab your stuff, your clubs and your bags, and find your name and find your roommate, get to know him a little bit.
Hey, buddy.
What's going on, man?
Where's the air conditioning?
Yeah, I hear you.
Come on in.
We got a Sony flat screen, bro. Hey, listen, there ain't no bunk beds and ain't none of that touchy-feely stuff. Oh, we get to sleep beside each other. Oh, ain't that sexy?
You know I snore, so I was just hoping I didn't do it too loud that I didn't scare him off.
I get one of the old guys, so hey, deal with it.
But I talk a lot, there's no doubt about that. But he's a different type of talker.
About 290, it's about it for me, average. I'm better.
290?
That's it, average, that's it.
58 years old? I hope I can even
Get the club back. The last term up with Lindsay.
Oh, we got Charles getting ready to go. This is...
I was running late this morning. Oh, my goodness. I've never had my sexy body on television.
It's kind of hard to believe that you can form such tight friendships so quickly. You meet a bunch of guys and you hang out together, and you're 24/7. You're together.
Salud.
Cheers. Have a fun week. Hopefully longer.
I'm here for sure.
Hacker for sure.
Hey, how long did it take you to do your hair today?
1.3 seconds. A little slow this morning.
Now, Anthony, how deep is that rough?
Yeah, that's a little rough you got up there. US.
I don't think he liked my coffee too well, though. He said it was too strong. Yeah, I would say it's sad, but I'm ready to get home to my lovely wife.
It really is, there was nothing phony. Everybody got along really well.
Oh my. Precious moments caught on tape, fellas. All right, Steve, here's your shot to get Anthony back. Rooming with the old guy, what's that all about?
Old, he kept saying it throughout the whole 10 weeks. Old, though, he's an old guy. He's an old guy. Older. Older.
Garrett Garland actually stood out, eliminated in episode 1, but boy, did he bring some power with him as far as presence was concerned. And Steve, you were one of the most outspoken guys in the group about him as far as what we saw on the air. Can you just tell us a little bit more about Garland and what he brought to the table?
He brought nothing to the table, but he brought deception. In my job as a radio host, I have to figure out very quickly through the phone lines, are you friend, foe, or idiot? And it was quick. I met him on Friday, and he started with the head games right on Friday. And I'm sure, come on, nod, he did it with everybody.
Everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
On the driving range.
Lateral shot.
Speaking, Charles he's talking about the shanks on the driving range at a competition where, guys are trying to get the 4 tour exemptions on the Canadian Tour, and he's talking about shanks. He was trying to get into people's heads.
Okay, well, I'm sure.
And he wasn't going to get in mine, and I noticed it first, and I think, this wasn't supposed to be a real reality show as far as alliances. I just went, this guy's an
Okay, well.
Oh, that's live TV.
Moving on.
I got a bleep button.
Moving on, Garrett's a very loved man with his friends, and we're sure of that.
Hi, Garrett.
Randy would love to know your comments in response to Jeff's coffee.
We're both prior military. We all get along. It was great, but Jeff's coffee was mighty strong.
Hey, it was good, though.
I mean, you could take the cup and hold it upside down. It was pretty thick.
And Charles, we had a couple of precious moments there with you caught on tape. I'd love to know about his late night reading habits, Mark. You were roommates with Charles. He was up late night.
Charles is a good student of the golf swing, and he knows an awful lot about it, but he'd stay up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning studying the golf swing. And one morning, he decided, I went to bed around midnight, and he came into the room to get something out of his golf bag, and being half awake, all I saw was a man moving in the room, and I jumped him. Took him up against the wall with a big, like, it's me, Charles, it's Charles.
Well, a lot of fun was had by you guys, but we remember why we're here, and it's about the competition. When we left the final match, the competition was all square through 2 holes. Remember, Anthony and Justin are seeing the entire golf course for the first time ever. Let's go back to Treetops and pick up the action at the par 4 third.
Come on, button down the hatches, boy. I did it again. Hey!
And Anthony's just lost it a little to the right, and which should catch the right rough. The fairway is very large here, and he's in good shape. He again has about 150 to the center.
Is it me, Joss?
Yeah.
Okay. Turn.
Oh, and he hit it too far, and in the right pot bunker.
Had a 9-iron in, and as soon as I left the club, I knew it was going to be good. I just said, beat a stick, felt pure, and I almost flew in the hole, landed a couple inches from the hole.
The bunker shot is not that difficult if his lie is good. Came out a little hot on it. And now it looks like Justin is in a position now for the win. Way to do it. And Justin's one up.
Anthony 4. Justin is 1 up with 15 holes to play.
Looks like he's going with a 4-iron.
Jesus.
Big block to the right. That's in deep trouble. Now the door's open now for Anthony.
Be good.
God. He's also left it to the right, heading towards the right-hand bunker.
Just afraid of going over, tried to get a nice little punch 4-iron, and just got ahead of it and just blocked the crap out of it.
that thing was in some nasty stuff, and he, you know, what you try to do there is get it either in the bunker or on the green.
Not a bad play. Now, if he hits that more solid, does it have a chance to hit in the bunker and bounce out? The odds would say no.
Bite.
Now the door's back open for Justin to get out of this hole with a half. And now, Anthony makes his putt to win the hole.
Curl.
That's good.
Justin, now he's got a chance to tie it up.
Justin 4, Anthony 4. Justin is 1 up, 14 to play.
He made a great 4, so I was bummed out that 4 or 3 I thought would get me the hole, and he made a 4. Clutch 4 is to stay 1 up.
Still to come on the Big Break season finale, we revisit your favorite skills challenges. Plenty of clanging barrels, breaking glass, and the dreaded clock, which fouled up so many. Momentum picks up for one of the finalists as they compete for the 4 Canadian Tour exemptions. Before the turn, can Justin hold on to his 1-hole lead? Or will Anthony charge back? All this is next on the Big Break season finale.
Welcome back to the Big Break season finale. We have a big breakdown for you of all that took monstrosity of production together. 20 cameras, a crew of 40, over 200 hours of footage recorded, and you just saw a little bit of it. Boy, they had a lot. Temperatures range from 85 degrees all the way down to 45 degrees, and I'm not even sure that includes wind chill factors, and 10 cans of tobacco. I wonder who's responsible for most of that. Okay, we had some neat skills challenges, some that involved playing under the clock, and team challenges. Craig, I'd love to ask you about the time challenges. How challenging were they?
It was horrible with the clock. I didn't relax a single event, I think, anything that was timed, and I did not perform well in those events, but they weren't elimination challenges, thank God.
Yeah, thankfully. John, how was playing under the clock for you?
The people who know me personally know that I'm a slow golfer, and I'm a slow player. And throughout college, I was kind of one of my Achilles heels. And then going to the TV show, my attitude changed. I just said, just go up there and just do it as fast as you can, try to do it as rhythmic as you can, and just let it flow naturally. And actually got some success by doing it that way.
There were some pretty cool team challenges, and man, Jeff, you had some wheels in that one running challenge. What was it like playing on a team and relying on another competitor and then trying to eliminate him the very next round?
Oh, I wouldn't have wanted anybody any different. I felt we had a great team, and it just didn't work out the way that I wanted it to. But, you know, it's kind of interesting. When I first started my journey up that hill after I'd gotten to the ball, it was like my first 3 steps, I didn't even move. It was like straight uphill. I said, good Lord, I'm not even going anywhere. So I put my head down and just gave it all I had, you know. But it was great.
Well, the creators of the Big Break felt it was crucial that all the elimination challenges were true golf tests. But the skills challenges contained more of a game-like atmosphere, and they were as entertaining as they were demanding. Who knew a barrel, a range picker, and a pane of glass could be so cruel?
It's a flop shot wall challenge.
Look at this. We got another.
Hey, Jeff.
Another extension here.
Catch it.
You know, Rick, let me show you how to hit this shot.
Yeah.
Great. Look at this shot.
You're gonna have 90 seconds to hit as many balls as you can into the cart. What we have is a 55-gallon drum challenge for you.
It is harder than it looks. It is harder than it looks, especially that clock adds a tremendous amount of pressure.
It was pretty intimidating because all of a sudden, boom, boom, there were 2 glasses that broke real fast.
Mark, he hit so many balls, it was like he had gone through 3 buckets.
You're gonna tee it up here, and if you hit it, you get it.
Oh, baby, it's going by. Go!
Speed, knee, golf, doesn't work. Come on, baby. I took off running like I hadn't ran in a long time. Yeah, baby. I'm too old for this.
Oh man, the skills challenge has provided outstanding theater, but it's the final elimination challenge we're focused on tonight. When we last left Justin and Anthony's match, Justin was 1 up. They halved holes 5 and 6, so we rejoin them at the par 5 7th where the golf is heating up.
And he's hit that perfectly down the left center. Very solid. And very long. That was a long 3-wood. That's perfect. Absolutely large and down the left center there. Perfectly done there. That was a big tee shot.
Use a slope. Ah, crap.
Absolutely the thinness of that shot that he hit. It just cost him. He's well short of the green and the ball's rolled back down. Door open. Advantage Anthony. Big time here.
Be good. It's got a bite. Thanks.
He's faced with a lob shot. That ball actually had rolled all the way down the hill.
Did it again.
And he's hit it thin. The door is totally open now for Anthony. He's upset with himself. Look at that takeoff. Oh, he made it. What a great putt.
Thanks. I finally started hitting good shots, and it was a hard putt and it dropped, so that was cool. Kind of got me rolling a little bit. You know, less fear of the speed of the greens.
3, Justin 5, matches all square, 11 holes to play.
Good birdie. Here we go. We thought it'd be close.
Match play, it's more like real sports. Momentum's huge.
Oh, it's a great shot. That was a great shot by Anthony. Now he's coming at him. You know, he's got a little confidence. And as we found out the last 10 shows or 9 shows, we know what Anthony's like. I mean, he'll rip your throat out if he has a chance to. Now, Justin's got to settle down. He's got to make sure that he stays in a good rhythm.
Turn over.
Well, that could kick off and may stay in. I think it's kicking left. There it comes. Now, you know, the rough just grabbed it. He's going to hit the fairway mountain. Just like a putting stroke. That's a very good shot right there.
Good shot, dude. Nice.
Well done. This is a very makeable birdie putt, and I'll tell you, Anthony birdieing the last hole and hitting a great shot in here. He makes this. He's on he get on a little roll here. Two threes, match stay square.
All right, we are all square through 8 holes. And Rick, this is your first ever design, treetops. You're seeing 2 men do fierce battle on this golf course. Did you suspect that either one of these men would come out and just dominate this course right away, never really seeing it fully?
It's hard to do. It's a lot of great players have played there, and the first time that you've played it, there are some nuances and there's some subtleties that you're really not aware of. And I think missing the ball in the proper spot is really critical on this golf course. And you can see it here with Justin, how he's hit a few bad shots. And all of a sudden, Anthony starts to get it going. And the one thing, if your ball striking's good, then you've got a big advantage. But still, if you hit it on the wrong side of the green, you've got some really tough putts. So we'll see what happens.
You've watched these guys throughout all of the shows preparing for this moment, Catherine. What was it like for you to sit back and watch them do battle like this?
I was feeling very nervous for them. You know, these guys have become family to me now, but I really got a sense that they were starting to settle down, get into a little bit of rhythm and tempo for themselves, and you know, it was tit for tat, as Rick just said, so it was really getting exciting.
All right, well, it is exciting. We are all square through 8 holes, and we are just about to make the turn. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up next on the Big Break season finale, an unexpected turn of events for Justin.
I looked down at my hand and it looked like it was bent.
Will the back 9 and the 4 Canadian Tour exemptions belong to Anthony? Stay tuned when the Big Break season finale returns.
The Big Break is something that I would have loved to play in. I think that's it's exciting. We're down to 2 people now, and one of those people will be on the Canadian Tour next year. And you know, I'll make a bet that whoever gets it will do very well.
Pretty cool. That is compliments from our chairman of the Golf Channel. Arnie would have loved to have played in the Big Break. There isn't a better compliment than that. You can be a part of the Big Break 2 in the fall of 2004. Log on to thegolfchannel.com if you're an aspiring professional, and maybe your dream will come true. Mark Farnham, I have to turn to you now. You used more angles in this competition than the Black Widow in a billiards pool game. I mean, you were working it.
Well, you know, I showed up at the competition. I think a lot of these guys showed up thinking on the first day that, you know, they're all sizing each other, thinking, you know what, I'm going to be there at the end. I know Anthony was saying, you know, I know I'm going to be one of the guys in the end. I looked at this thing and said, I got to figure out a way to survive every single one of these challenges. And, you know, I approached every one of the competitions like that. And when anybody gave me a little bit of room to get in, like my roommate Charles gave me a little bit of room to get in and hit that putt through the green, that was the name of the game of the competition. So I was a bit more scheming than I wanted to be. But, you know, when the door was open, you know, I just, you know, tried to slide on through it.
You provided inspiration for a lot of people who might want to be a part of Big Break 2. Charles, what advice do you have for people who would like to be a contestant for that show?
Well, I would say is get out, practice, prepare, have fun, and just basically just enjoy yourself. Whatever you're doing, just enjoy yourself, and just don't look at it as something that may cause you problems or something. Just look at it as one of the greatest things you ever do in your life. Like me, as I you know, I was eliminated, but still, yet it has been the greatest thing I've ever done in my life, and just enjoy that, and I think they'll get a lot of love out of it.
All right. Well, 4 Canadian Tour exemptions are on the line in our Big Break season finale. Thus far, Anthony Sorrentino and Justin Peters are all square through 8 holes of match play. In this visit, Treetops, a scary moment unfolds. Let's head out to the par 4 ninth.
Ball.
Thanks. Nice, just ripped it down the right center, drawing back. Perfect.
Hang.
Heading down the left side.
It's gravy.
Left fairway, Justin?
No, left rough.
Left rough.
Between the bunkers.
Advantage again, Anthony being in the fairway, but basically with Justin down the left side, he has a chance at obviously knocking on the green and hit it close, but it really depends on the lie.
Be the stick. Left a little.
Get tight. Shot.
Oh, that's tremendous. I tell you, he's hit a beautiful golf shot here.
Stay there.
Stay! That could be really tight. Almost flew in the hole. What a great shot. Great shot by Anthony. He's got it in there tight. He's obviously gained a lot of confidence the last few holes. Justin's obviously in a must-make position here, or the match will be turning in Anthony's favor.
Pressure player.
You know, Justin's not going to give anything away. He just conceded. They've tied with birdie.
You wouldn't give it to me unless you knew you were going to make it, so. All right, good front side. Battled back. I think he shot even. I shot one over, and the match is square, so.
This 9, it's going to boil down to a couple things. Justin getting his driver in play. He's got a par 5. He's hitting driver. And we have Anthony who's driving the ball beautifully. So it's going to really boil down to putting and driving.
Stand it. Stay short.
He's driven it over the bunker to the right.
That's me.
Anthony has hit the ball in the right bunker, and Justin has hit it in the long fescue. So we'll see what kind of lie Justin's got.
That's nasty.
Oh, that was just an absolutely perfect fairway bunker shot. People at home need to learn from that one. Now, Justin, you can see, he can't even see his ball. He'll be taking a sand wedge and hacking it out.
Good one. You all right?
Right at impact, that grass just grabbed the club. I felt something pop, a sharp pain real quick, and then I started feeling a little dizzy. I looked down at my hand and it looked like it was bent. Oh, the drama. I think it's fine. I think I heard pop and it just freaked me out. It didn't hurt, it just looked weird and then it felt weird. And the next swing was pretty scary. I had to hit a 3-iron, and I didn't know if something was gonna give or an impact, what was gonna happen, and I fanned it off to the right. Didn't hurt.
Yeah. I tell you, it could carry over that ridge. And it did. And I tell you, he was fortunate that it did.
Another beautiful lie.
I mean, he's got to hit a really good shot. It was a huge miscue missing right here.
Fantastic. Fantastic shot, dude.
Thanks. Thank you.
It's really not a bad putt. It's really what he needed to do. He just kind of cozied it up. He's got about 2.5 feet left of the hole. Justin must make, he needs to make this. He doesn't want to be one down going to the back 9 here, going into 11.
It's safe. Fantastic.
Thanks.
I tell you, that's going to keep him in the ball game. Well, and a good putt by Anthony.
Things are really intensifying out there. Justin, you hurt your wrist. I can't imagine what was going through your mind at the moment of impact, but you managed to have the hole. It must have been inspirational for you.
It was huge for momentum. I mean, it was a very scary moment for me because I heard a pop and a sharp pain real quick, and I immediately thought the match was over, and I was worrying about the next week's tournament. I'm not going to be able to play. How am I going to make money to pay my bills? And it really freaked me out. I had a million thoughts going through my head in about 3 seconds. And to get up and down and to tie the hole and just, luckily I was still okay. I mean, serious things, you see people break their wrists all the time in that kind of deep grass, and I was very fortunate that it wasn't anything serious.
And the match went on. I'm sure you wouldn't want him to go down that way, Anthony. Guys, what do you think of the match so far? Randy, it's a good one, isn't it?
Oh, it's awesome. It is awesome to see two guys battle like that.
All right, well, we have plenty more to come. Game is on. Still ahead, Anthony. Will he capture his first lead of the match? And who will be forced to play a provisional ball? Who is going home with 4 Canadian Tour exemptions? Log on to thegolfchannel.com to cast your vote.
It looked like you were really trying to rip it. Your feet were off the ground in impact.
Came out of your shoes on that.
That's what they tell me. He's coming out of his shoes.
I told you, both cheeks. It didn't help. I was putting both cheeks in it, buddy. I mean,
I know you were.
Hey,
on your toes.
I know, and I couldn't get the club head around on it. It was just like, get on through there, but it wouldn't do it. It would not do it.
All right, Jeff, some unique action there. Proof, though, that you guys actually helped each other throughout this show. Some of the guys tried to give you tips. Did they stick?
Obviously not. But, one thing I have taken back home with me is the experience and just knowing to swing within myself. I think Rick
pointed some good things out for me. It's like, what are you doing? Just do what you know how to do. And I think a lot of time when we get in situations in which we're not familiar, the bad things come out, but we can always draw from what we know is right. You know, the skill, the part to just stay within ourselves, and, you know, that's all it takes.
Which begs the question, which swings held up best under the pressure, Rick?
Well, I mean, if you look at the competitions, it really varied, you know, from competition to competition. Obviously, Anthony and Justin were there. I look at Craig. I look at really John. John was doing very well and swinging well, but he had a shot and it bounced crooked and kind of got the bad end of the deal there. Randy was hitting it good all week. He really didn't hit a bad shot until it got kind of cold, so you're not used to that cooler weather.
Antonio doesn't get that.
That's right. Well, we had a fluke cold front came through there, and it was just unbelievable. But it really brought out the whole game, and I think a lot of people don't realize how hard it is to play. Obviously, down here in Florida, you don't have to deal with that. You don't go outside. So, but people that come up north or go to play golf, they're out there and they're going to grind it out, and it's tough, especially when there's a lot on the line. So it really varied.
Compliments to your swing from Rick Smith, one of our
Take it.
troubleshooters. That's right, man. Now you, upon your elimination, went back to your cabin and started to pack your bag. And sorry, I couldn't help but notice all those beautifully, perfectly unwrapped shirts in your bag. What's that all about?
Try to be dressed to impress, that's all. No, I just start out at an early age. I mean, I always take a lot of pride in whatever I do, whether it be playing golf, whether it be going down the street, whether it be just always being thankful for the little things in life, and just always being happy. So even my experience to get chosen for the Golf Channel, I knew it was going to be a special experience. It would be an awesome experience.
You're a classy guy, John.
Yeah, Craig, nice words to John Roddy there. I mean, Craig, now on the other side of the coin, you were on the fence, it seemed a lot. You were in a lot of these playoffs. Yeah. Do you think that you lasted longer than you thought you should have, or was it the opposite? Did you stay as long as you thought you should?
I didn't go in there with any ideas of how I was going to do. I just went in there. I know golf's a sport where you take it one shot at a time. You can't look ahead much further than that. So I didn't have any expectations, because if I did think that I wasn't as good as some of these guys, maybe I would have gone earlier. I went in with a blank mind and just did the best I could from day to day.
You went pretty far.
Yeah, I was proud.
Third man left. All right, when Craig Pauling was finally eliminated, only Justin and Anthony were left. It's time to head back to the dramatic match that is currently all square through 10 holes. Justin has been struggling off the tee, but his short game has stood the test. We pick up play at the par 3 11th.
Wind was blowing hard left.
Right over it.
I tried to start it right and get it in there. I had a chubby and left. That was my first bad shot in a while after I had actually started playing a little better.
Well, it's time for Justin to take charge again. It's been really flip-flopping back and forth, yeah. Opportunity, and you gotta take advantage of that opportunity. He hit the ball a little thin here. No, he hit it a little thin. It looks like he's in one of my little back bunkers that are about 5 feet.
He's not happy with you right now.
They're very tiny little bunkers.
Wow.
The shot is the Phil Mickelson flop. I don't know what kind of lie he's got up there, but it doesn't look very good.
Hit soft. Bite!
And I'll tell you what, pretty good chip shot. And that's as good as he could do from there. Really tough bunker shot. He's got to just land it on the fringe and just let it trickle to the hole. Oh, that was awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Incredible.
That's good.
That's as good as it gets right there, folks. Well, here we go. Anthony's got to make. Or Justin goes 1 up, going into our hole 12. The match goes to Justin, 1 up, as we go to the 12. And that's lost.
Jesus, Justin. Hang.
That's in trouble. I'll tell you what, Anthony, the door's wide open. I think you're going to see a good tee shot from him. And he did. A perfect sweeping drop.
He's balling. It's a Titleist 1 with red lines next to the 1.
He decided to look for it, and I went in to help him and actually I was standing by Rick, and it was just in the middle of a little bush, and he lashed it out.
How good is that?
Anthony's in a position here at 140 yards to stiffen it.
Stay right there and get down. Get down.
Yeah, you know what? I was gonna hit wedge there, and I ended up swinging the 9, and it was still ended up short. I thought I had too much club. I was just trying to get it somewhere in the middle of the green.
Justin has gotten out of trouble. I mean, fantastic what he's done. I mean, to get it to this point with that lie,
Incredible.
he's got 75 yards to go. This is a key up and down if he can do it.
Short.
Anthony's in a position to make a 2-putt
Tie it up.
to tie it up. The ball breaks a good 3.5 feet to the right.
Knew he was gonna make 5, so pretty much had the whole one after the tee shot.
That's good.
You sure?
Yeah.
Match is all square, 6 holes remaining to play.
You know, just for a minute there, I really thought you were going up to check it. I really did. Very kind of you. What do you think about the match, guys? This is really
This
tight.
is great.
I mean, it could go either way.
They're starting to hit some good golf shots too.
The golf seems to be getting a little bit better.
Settled.
Yep.
In the course, obviously, they're seeing the full course for the first time. You have to admire what they're going through.
I think it's very special just to play golf. No, we didn't get that opportunity, any of us here, besides those two.
That's a great point.
Detect a little jealousy there, Randy.
Oh, I'd like to be in your shoes.
Yeah.
2 of you played golf. All right, guys, we are headed down the home stretch. Still ahead, we'll finish the match. And what would the big break be without a big twist? We have a big surprise waiting for the contestants. The answer is inside this envelope. On our way to break, a message from Plugged In's Peter Jacobson and Matt Greaser.
We're here on the set of the All Jake Team Awards show. Matt and I have been giving out some huge awards, and I know that somebody tonight is going to get a huge award. The big break. I love the show.
Well, you got Anthony and you got Justin. You got Anthony a little bit more brash, a little bit more willing.
I'm a golfer.
Yeah.
And I feel their pain, but I also feel their excitement, and I wish both of you guys the best of luck. May the best player win. It's hard to decide who's going to win.
Sweet. That's very sweet. Here's what's going to happen. Anthony and Justin are going to duel it out.
Listen,
I'm thinking Justin's going to be the player to pull it off. Let's just use that, because I think that works.
I'm not going with any favorites because I know how tough it is.
You know
These
what?
guys
You can't decide anything. You don't even know where you want to go to lunch today.
Somebody's got to lose, but, you know, we're certainly not pulling against them. We know somebody's going to have to be last, and we're all praying it isn't us.
It's not going to be me. I mean, I'm telling you right now, I am not going to be the first one to go.
You know, it's a little depressing, but, you know, it's still okay. I just didn't do as well as I should have. That's all there is to it. They outperformed me, so they win.
You are a big star. Keep on the path and don't let anyone stop you from reaching your goals. Best regards, Mark. That's pretty tight. I like that. Y'all gotta give me a second if I don't look up at the camera. He's a good guy.
You know, that's what it is. You can't hit the green, can't hit the green. If you're looking for sad, you ain't gonna find it here. I had a great time. Had a great time. Figured I maybe could have got one more round, but I'm not as good as these guys.
I executed that shot the way you're supposed to. I mean, it was coming in fine, and you just took that roll to the left and rolled about 13 feet, you know, further than it's supposed to, instead of just running to the right.
I believe very strongly that John Ruddy has a very big future in golf or entertainment or anything he wants to do, and I knew how much this break meant to him.
My dad's been pretty sick. Been bad for him the last 2 months. So that's been tough more than anything else. Yeah, I'd like to put a good showing in for Pops, but we try at Pops.
This has been an opportunity of a lifetime. Let's go home, Jeff. Let's go home. Maybe I can get the guys to sign this for me.
Great.
One more time. Ready? 1, 2,
3. Big break!
Safe trip, Mark.
Thanks, guys.
I stood over that wedge shot in the fairway and I hit the best possible shot I could hit, and I missed the putt. And that's golf.
Try to hit 5-iron. Cold, rainy, I'm frozen, my hands are like numb.
He's just got a huge heart. You know, he's been through a lot in his life. I mean, he's gone through a lot of adversity. It hits you when you see someone like that get that emotional.
You're pretty emotional.
Yeah.
Kind of talking about that a little bit.
No.
I think I hit some good putts. I really did. I think I had 3, maybe 4 that touched the hole and one that kind of almost went down in, some people said.
Back at the bunkhouse the last time.
I have 2 weeks off, and then I have to stop and look at the bank account and see if I can keep going on the Hooters tour or if I have to go back to a mix of day job and playing and practicing and trying to save up money for next year's tour. So we shall see.
Every time you heard that music, you knew it was time to say goodbye to someone. Does it bring back vivid memories watching that piece, Craig?
Yeah, it's harder to watch each time I watch it now. I've seen it a few times.
Catherine, Garrett was eliminated in episode 2. He was the first to leave, and it's obvious that he rubbed some of the guys the wrong way, but maybe what were some of the moments that you might have shared or just noticed about him that maybe his departure was a little too soon for him?
Well, I mean, I think the big break is obviously about golf, but it's also about personalities and chasing the dream. And he had a dream just like all these guys sitting here. And, you know, I guess that's why there's chocolate and vanilla. Some people just don't get along. But he, you know, I found him to be gracious towards me, and you know, that's just the way it goes.
Sarge, Randy, it's tough to see a guy like you be that emotional. I'm sure it was hard for you to watch just then.
Oh yeah.
Why were you so emotional? What did it mean to you?
It meant a lot to me, you know. But it's a game of golf. We all came there to do something, and I failed to do what I set forth to do. But I'll tell you one thing about Garrett is he had game, but he just left early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John, when you said your goodbyes to the camera and to the viewers who loved you very much, you mentioned that your dad was ill.
Oh yeah.
How's he doing?
Prior to me actually going to the competition, my dad was diagnosed with cancer. So my whole thought process for the last 6 or 7 months, even a year, has been a lot different than most people. So actually, in getting the invite to the show, I looked at it as a huge opportunity just to get a chance to showcase my talent on TV, and to be a part of, you know, something that I grew up in watching, you know, the Golf Channel when I was 12, 13 years old. When, you know, the company's only 8 years old now. But in going on the show, I just took it as, hey, this is a chance to play in front of the whole world and get a chance to hit some shots that I may never get a chance to do again. And the only thing I was really proud of and made me most happy about is that I hit some great shots at some good moments. Even though they get a bad break, you know, you got to keep going forward. You know, it's not really how you start the race, it's how you finish. So I just got to keep going, keep on pushing.
Our thoughts are with you and your father.
Thank you.
Charles, we saw some tears well up in your eyes, aside from your sexy body that made television a few times. Did your departure cause you to reflect on maybe where you stood in life and maybe a lost opportunity that was?
Well, actually, you know, each and every day I always reflect on life. You know, I talk to my wife quite often, and we always talk about where life is going to bring or where we're going to go in life. And yes, I was very emotional. And the problem is that not so much about winning or losing. To me, it was about having an opportunity to do something like this, because I can, as I said before, I can remember when I was in college and I was in a nice little, small little roach-infested apartment and I was broke. And I had a couple golf balls in the tees, and I said, man, I wanted to be a professional golfer. It was something that I loved to do. And then I turn around and here I am on the big break. And as I said, if I accomplish nothing else in the game of golf, you can't ask for nothing more than this. This is the greatest.
You may have been broke, but you are rich in personality.
Oh.
That is for sure. This competition brought out the best in all of the contestants. 2 men who managed to escape the emotional goodbyes are still doing battle on the golf course for the Canadian Tour exemptions. In this particular visit to Treetops, the match is all square. We go to the 13th.
Anthony's in a good mode here. He's driving the ball beautifully. Now he got a little in front of that. You could see his body did not rotate well there.
The good drives that I was hitting, I was turning over, and it looked like you could pick up a few yards if you took it down the right side and busted over the trees. And I took it right in the tree line. One of the officials said that it hit a tree and bounced in.
Now he's going on reserve here.
Low stingers from here on out. Gotta get it in play.
That was a 4.
The key's going to be with Anthony. Blocks it right. Has he lost his ball? Is it in the deep? Is it in deep, or did he get a good kick? Let's go find out.
Okay.
Where is it? I looked for it for a minute, but I really didn't want to find it. I mean, my provisional was the middle of the fairway.
Why didn't I aim further left? Let's try to throw a dart and at least put a little pressure on the kid. Get right. Right!
Oh, it's over the...
I can see it.
And the match is now Justin is 1 up as we go into hole 14.
Coming up next on the Big Break season finale, Justin battled back after an injury almost took him out to take the lead in the competition for the 4 Canadian Tour exemptions. Can Anthony make a run, or will Justin hold on and get his big break? All this and plenty of surprises when the Big Break season finale returns.
Guys, I want you to play along with me here. How did we come up with these names? I can understand where Sarge came from, but where's Lucky come from, Jeff?
I don't know if lucky is even the right word for it.
Hey, because you pick number 1 all the time.
I know talk show, I could probably understand Geritol at 58 years old, but how about C Money? C Money, where's that? Is that just the...
That's Charles.
Yeah.
Just one of those military things. You see money, you go for it.
Mark Farnham came in already nicknamed Moose, so I'll let that one slide for now. We know Lefty's an obvious. Smooth, Justin Peters, John Roddy, Flex, Anthony Sorrentino, Soda Pop, and Anthony, I'm imagining you had a can of pop in your hand just about every other minute during the taping of the show.
I didn't come up with that one. I actually called Golf Channel and complained. I said, you gotta stop that. My nickname is not Soda Pop.
When we last left the fun match, Justin Peters, a.k.a. Smooth, was 1 up over Anthony Sorrentino, affectionately dubbed Soda Pop, through 13 holes. The 14th was halved, so we go directly to the par 5 15th. The final contestants are headed down the home stretch. Rick Smith sets the scene on the tee.
Justin's going, let me at it. Now he's got driver again. Now he's got some things going for him. Pretty open fairway, downwind. It's a par 5. He wants to bust this, believe me.
Okay.
Now that's the tee shot that he's wanted the whole day. And that was a pivotal tee shot for him.
Nobody wanted to take control, it seemed like. You know, every time I felt like I was taking control, I gave him one back the next hole. Every time, you know, then he wins the hole and then he'd give me one back. It's definitely emotional grind.
Oh. Oh no. Hit it. Oh no. You guys got it?
Oh yeah, you got it.
If he does not make birdie here, my feeling is Justin will make birdie here, and the match is gonna change.
Yeah.
He hit it over in the trees. He had a great shot to get it out of the trees, first of all. He made a great shot to get it back in play. He's probably going to make birdie. That's what I was thinking. And I'm standing there with 7-iron. I said, all right, this is it. Let's put one good swing on it. Let's just stuff one in there. Let's make an eagle. And, you know, eagles are hard to beat. Oh, be the stick. I love it. Love it.
And I think he's hit an outstanding shot. Now the heat's back on Anthony. Anthony is fighting. He's fighting hard. He has to make 4, basically. He has to make it up and down from there, or he goes 2 down. He's blocked it a little bit, but it could be right.
Oh no.
Well, he's in trouble. You know, Anthony's disappointed right now. He's this is a tough thing for him. A must make right now. Oh, hit it thin.
Wow.
Doesn't look like it's going to be enough.
Concede.
Thanks.
Good shot.
Thanks. He's picking it up. He's conceding the eagle putt, and Justin goes 2 up.
I'm 2 down with 3 to go. I mean, you can't get them all in one hole. So if you push, you know, you put yourself in a worse spot than you were the hole before. But it's not the end of the world.
Justin is obviously taking a smart play here. He's 2 up. He has 3 holes to play, and he's going with a long iron. He's right in the middle of the fairway. Anthony is also going to be playing a long iron, and he just wants to keep it in the fairway. Nice little draw, long iron, in good position to make a birdie.
I gotta just win a hole. I gotta win a hole pronto, or else this match is over.
Anthony must hit a good golf shot. You don't want to be 2 down with 2 to go.
The wind just eat that up.
Justin knows if he stuffs it, he hits a great shot in there, makes birdie, the game's over, probably. This shot is going left of the flag. You know, again, a little bit, maybe a little too conservative. It's spinning, but he didn't hit it far enough. Now he's in a 3-putt environment there. Playing left of the hole is good, but the ball spun back a lot. He's got a long putt, so we've got a putting contest.
Could you make it on me? Let me lag mine up there, and then I'll give it to you. I actually hit a decent shot in there too. I had a decent luck. It's just pretty much anywhere you hit it, unless you stiffed it, was gonna be breaking hard where that flag was.
A must make right now.
Oh, he made it.
But it looks like Anthony is actually still away, and Justin's feeling pretty good right now.
Good putt.
Justin 4, Anthony 4. Justin is Dormy 2.
Wow. What a clutch 3-footer by Anthony to hang in. Only 2 holes remain in regulation, and the match could still go either way. Stay tuned to crown a winner and to see the unveiling of our big surprise. It's inside this pack. The guys are asking me to tell them what it is, and I won't do it. Big break. Season finale continues in just a moment. In the big finale, clutch saves, crucial birdies, dramatic turns, and best of all, solid gamesmanship. But this seesaw affair has come down to the wire. With 2 holes remaining in regulation, Anthony Sorrentino is 2 down, but not laying down.
Justin right now knows that if he ties this hole, he's the winner of the big break.
No, it's a good looking shot, kid.
Be the stick. One time.
Be the number.
He's just hit the shot of his life.
Oh man, it's gonna be tough.
Just hit it dead solid perfect to where I was aiming, and it came up about 12 feet short of the hole.
I was thinking, you know, I'll make birdie here. I just chubbed it. I mean, I absolutely hit about as bad of a golf shot as you can hit.
Anthony is trying to create a shot. He's put himself in a really bad situation. He's in the bunker, underneath the tree. He really doesn't have much of a chance, and he knows he has to hole it or the match is over.
Yeah, heads up, everyone. I got a tough stance. This could come out flying.
Look at this guy fighting. What a great golf shot.
I thought he was going to make it. I thought maybe for dramatics it would have been great if he'd knocked it in. Then it got to the point where I just had a 2-putt.
is not going to be moving fast, is it? Look at this finish here. Just won the match. Justin is victorious, and it's phenomenal stuff.
Match is over. Justin wins 3-1.
Come on up, guys.
Good job. I was rooting for you.
How'd you keep that in, man? Good job, man.
All right, guys. Justin, here.
You know what's going to happen to you.
Thank you.
Anthony, can I have you right here?
I wanted it.
About 6 months.
I know, you waited a long time for this.
Well, Anthony, heck of a shot. How do you feel about the way things ended?
Losing sucks.
Way to say it, so do I. Justin, congratulations, man. 4 exemptions to the Canadian Tour. Can you handle that?
Absolutely. I mean, this is a huge break for me.
A big break for you. Yeah.
Bigger than big. And I was basically retired. I don't know when my next golf tournament was going to be, and everything happens for a reason. And this is going to keep me going and keep the dream alive. And just hopefully I can take advantage of it and be prepared for when the tournaments come up.
Rosemarie, you have a promise that you need to stick to.
I know, and I will. I'm
quit
just so
smoking,
proud of
young
him.
lady?
I will. I will. That is
How
a
long
promise.
have you been doing it? How hard is it going to be to do that?
It's going to be hard. It's been quite a few years. I'll be about 30, 35.
All right, well, we have some prizes to give to you, young man. We start with
Here you go,
the Big Break Trophy, given to you by Rick Smith.
Congratulations.
Thank
This
you.
is the first Big Break winner, and may you do well in those exemptions.
I have a little something here you might like. The Ford family recognizes your dream as a professional golfer and the situation that you were in. 2-year use of an Eddie Bauer edition Ford Explorer. How about that?
That's great. Thank you, Ford. I mean, that's wonderful.
And the Big Break Prize, the ultimate 4 exemptions to the Canadian Tour. Catherine Roberts has the certificate for you.
Here you go, Justin. Congratulations and the best of luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
And cash that in.
Yep.
It's been a tough secret to hold for 6 months.
There's someone else in the crowd that we would love to see give you a big hug. Asia, come on up. Your daughter.
She's tired.
You're a single dad. This must mean the world to you. Come on up, Asia. Would you like to give your daddy a hug?
Come here, Asia.
He did such a good job.
She's scared. She's a little
That
shy.
is quite all right.
She
She
kept
is
telling me. She kept telling
adorable.
me, Daddy, I want you to win. I want you to win. And I said, I'll do my best, Asia. Asia, Daddy won.
Daddy's a
All right. She is adorable. And she is certainly proud of her father. But guess what? We're not finished yet. There's another hit coming. The big surprise is on the way. Get ready. Welcome back to the show. We already know that Justin Peters is walking away with 4 exemptions to the Canadian Tour because he is the winner of the Big Break. But we have another big break and big surprise to announce right now. Guys, we have another exemption to hand out. That's right. Another one of you will be teeing it up in the same field in one of the 4 Canadian Tour events that Justin Peters is competing in. The question is, who will it be? The answer lies in those packets that you have in front of you. Wow. That's right.
Oh, God, I've already got heart problems.
Don't open them. Don't open them. Inside these packets are pictures of everyone here except Justin. We're going to give you 45 seconds to finger through the pictures and decide which picture you want to hold up. who is going to get that exemption. You are going to decide. Now, before you automatically sign off to who you might think it is, remember one thing, you cannot vote for yourself. And you might want to vote for the guy who finished second. You might want to vote for the guy who maybe was eliminated too soon in your eyes or your mind. Or maybe you want to vote for the guy who may not otherwise ever receive this opportunity again. 45 seconds, a big break, one exemption. The clock starts now.
Wow. Are you serious?
Oh, this heart of mine, this old heart of mine, been broke 1,000 times.
There's some ugly mugs in here.
Once you pick out your picture, face down in your lap. We're at 25 seconds, fellas. One picture, not yourself.
Put all the other ones down.
15 seconds. A couple of you having a hard time deciding. 9. 5 seconds. Come on, Randy. Come on, Sarge.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
All right, face down in your lap. Everybody's made their decision. Time is up. Okay. We'll announce that person after the break. Stick around. Just a moment ago, we told our big break contestants that they were able to pick one man to receive one exemption to a Canadian Tour event. They have had a chance to think about it. They have selected the man that they want to vote for, and it is not going to be themselves. So let's start right at the top. Sarge, Randy, I want you to hold up your picture, and then I want you to tell me why you picked this man.
He deserved it.
Anthony Sorrentino. Simple as that, he deserved it.
Yeah.
Okay. John Roddy, you're next.
I picked Randy.
Tell me why.
From going to the show and actually spending some time with Randy and watching him play, he's a big leader, and I love the guy. He also showed a lot of qualities throughout watching the shows, that he has heart, and he has, I guess maybe because it's the military, he's not a quitter. And I know that, in life there is no second go around. And, for him to get a chance to go out there and take his pistols out and start blazing out, the 4 Canadian Tour exemptions would be great. And I think he's a winner. That's why I chose him.
Excellent words. Mark, it's your turn.
I chose John Roddy.
Oh, my God.
Mark, we'd love to hear why.
I tell you, my reason for choosing John Roddy is, he has the game to be out there. He went a little bit too soon. I think my good fortune was his bad fortune on the show, and I think that America's been blessed by getting to get to know him a little bit better. I think Canada deserves that opportunity to get to know him.
That's right, and you were the man that partly was responsible for eliminating John Roddy. That was a valiant move on your part. Thank you very much, Mark. Steve, you're next.
Randy,
Why?
if we hadn't played golf today, I might have had a lot harder decision. But when I see a guy can go out to a brand new course, never see it, shoot 71 easily, that's what it takes to go out there on tour. So I think he can do it. I'm putting my faith in him.
Okay, Craig Pauling.
Randy.
Stacking.
Yeah. His story, what he's been through, and I did battle with Randy one-on-one in elimination, and as soon as I saw the shot that left my club and I saw your face, I saw how bad you wanted it, man. You deserve it.
And it was interesting because the two of you were actually a team.
Right.
And because you couldn't beat Anthony and Justin, you were sent to face each other in the elimination challenge. It was an interesting twist of fate in itself. Okay, 3 votes for Randy. Charles?
Well, I chose Anthony. And the reason I chose Anthony, first and foremost, because we was tobacco bros. No doubt about that. But, this is a harsh decision because I could have picked up this car and I could have chosen anyone. But, he got that far, and like I said, he's my dude. And I chose him for that reason.
All right, thank you for those thoughts, Charles. Jeff Brown, who'd you pick?
I picked John.
I see John's love for the game, the intensity that he has, his commitment, his dedication, and I think that John would do well in whatever he does, and I think he has a knack for golf.
I'm going to tell you something. This is interesting. Anthony, you're in a tough spot. It's 3-2 to 2, and because you can't vote for yourself, you're already eliminated from this particular twist of fate. So this is going to be interesting. Who'd you vote for?
I voted for Randy.
There you
Wow.
go. Wow.
Randy Block, you're going to the Canadian Tour. All right, Randy, you have sealed the deal. You've earned an exemption to the Canadian Tour. I'd love to hear your thoughts right now.
Okay.
Come on, you've been the king of
Randy.
3-word answers tonight. I want you to give me your
Randy.
heart and soul.
You deserve it, sweetie.
Randy, there you go, babe.
You were obviously very loved by this bunch, Randy.
Put your name on it.
Go ahead, man.
Get it now.
All I can say is thank you. It's awesome. And this is for you, Terrell.
Justin, just for the record, who'd you have there?
I picked Anthony. I thought he had loads of natural talent, and he's got a different way of thinking, and I think he just hasn't. He's a young guy, and I think if he had the right opportunity, I think he could take that talent really to the next level. And again, it was so difficult. I mean, you guys threw a nice little twist there for us.
You ain't lying.
I mean, Randy was so solid. All these guys, I mean, I wish they all could have a shot at it. I mean, because they all deserve it, and they all got game.
And Anthony, you came close here on 2 occasions. What do you have to look forward to in your career?
I don't know. I can't win a damn thing.
You got plenty to look forward to.
I'm not mad. It's all good.
All right, well, it has been an incredible evening, and we still have a little bit more business to take care of. We are off to a break. When we come back, we'll say some final goodbyes to the guys. And it has been an emotional evening here in our Golf Channel studios as we unveil the winner of the big break, Justin Peters, 4 Canadian Tour exemptions. We are happy for him. And also Randy Block with the emotional vote by his fellow contestants. He gets 1 exemption to the Canadian Tour. Guys, it's hard to say goodbye, but now we must do that. Thank you very much for everything. It's been fun to watch you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
It's been great. Thanks.
All right, it has been a great show for the Golf Channel. And these guys will go on to bigger and better things, we are sure of it. Thank you for your support, and we will see you in the fall of 2004 with a brand new big break. Good night, everybody.